what you think about it as we go along and as we finish. Okay, guys, so the training is called Achieving Unlimited Success. Okay, now imagine that somebody calls you tonight. Your best friend, your best mate calls you up and he says, you know what, we've just won a free holiday trip, for 7 days to Mallorca, or whatever destination you choose. We just won this holiday for 4. However, there's only 2 of us, so we can take you and your partner as well. But you have to be ready tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock. The only condition, you have to be ready to go tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock. Now, let me just quickly open the attendance. I'll just put all the hands down. Now, by the show of hands, if your friend called you up and said, I've got a free holiday, well, you have to be ready tomorrow by 8 p.m. How many, by the show of hands, you would be ready tomorrow by 8 p.m. to go for a free, all-inclusive holiday for 7 days? Okay, I've got plenty of hands coming up. Okay, so most of you would find the time, right? You would make yourself available tomorrow, yeah? But then as you're talking on the phone, your second half says, oh, wait, but we have so many things we need to do, we can't leave, there's this thing has to be done and this thing, hang on, will we be able? Now, I think what you would do, you would say, oh, hang on a second, hold the line, you put the sheet down, okay, so what needs to be done? This needs to be done first, second, third, fourth, etc. Again, just put down the hands. How many of you think that within the next 24 hours you could do a lot more than you could perhaps do in a day, in a week, if you didn't have the holiday in front of you, if you had the holiday to go tomorrow? How many of you think that you could do in the next 24 hours a lot more than you could do in a week's time if you knew that you have a holiday tomorrow? Okay, again, plenty of hands going up. And that's exactly what we're talking about. It's very often it's being specific and getting things done is all to do with setting goals, with setting clear goals, what you need to do. And today a lot what I'm going to be talking today is about setting goals, setting targets, and knowing what you want to do. So I've seen a man who wore a wedding ring on the wrong finger, and I said, excuse me, you're wearing a wedding band on the wrong finger? And he said, yes, I married a wrong woman. Now, what we say that a lot of the times, this is how people look at their goals. They just think that, they don't know how to do that, and they just give up on these goals, and they give up on actually setting a clear path for themselves. So some of the things about goals is that, the reason why you would be able to make the holiday tomorrow night, and I would guarantee that 99% of you would actually get all of the things done, and you would be ready by 7:30 tomorrow evening for the taxi with all of your suitcases packed and ready to go for this 7-day all-inclusive holiday for free, because that's a big enough motivation. But you would be ready because why? Because you have specific goal, so you know what you want to do. You know that you want to go to this holiday. You want to get there. You have a time limit. So you've set yourself a time limit. Tomorrow 8 p.m. I have to be ready. And then there's no messing about. It's not someday, one day, because there is no day that is called someday. That's just your imagination. There is no thing like that. You have to set a real goal. And then the obstacles. You took the sheet of paper and you started writing down. Okay, so what do we need to do? First thing, take the rubbish out. Second thing, do this. Third thing, do this, do that, do that. You've done a to-do list. Now, because of those 3 things, you will achieve the goal. You will go on that holiday. But you have to be very specific. But very rarely do people treat their business like that. Very rarely are they so specific about the business. Most people on the call today will say, oh, I want to become rich. Or, I want to become financially independent. Or I want to be a diamond orchid. That is not a goal. That's just like a dream or whatever. It's just a statement. Because a goal has to be specific. So first of all, wealthy. What is wealthy? For somebody, £10,000 will be wealthy. For someone else, £100,000 will be wealthy. Or whatever. So what exactly you want to achieve? I want to achieve this particular level, or this income in my bank account, or this car, or this whatever, So that's the first thing. You have to be specific. If you want a house, what sort of a house? How many bedrooms? Is there a garage? Is there a swimming pool? What color the kitchen? You have to be very, very specific. And I know it sounds really, really, difficult for some of you who've never done goals, but you have to do that. I promise you, you will see massive, massive change when you do that. So that, first of all, is being specific. Secondly, is putting a time limit on it. Just saying, oh, I want to become a diamond orchid, that's no goal. You have to say, I want to do this by that time. By September 31st, I want to be there. By December 31st, 2013, I want to achieve this level. I want to get this car, or whatever it is. It has to have a time limit on it so that you know what you're working towards. And thirdly, and probably most importantly, it has to have the list of things that you need to do, the list of obstacles, or the list of you need to do. It's not enough just to say, look, I want to become a diamond. What exactly do you need to do to become a diamond? What are the things that are required to be completed before you can get there? And you have to sit down and write that list. It doesn't matter how many things there is on that list. Some of them will be short term that you can do tomorrow. You can tick them off right away. Some of them will be medium term that will take a little bit of time, and you'll tick them off, week after week, month after month. And some of them will be long term, that might take you a year to complete, or even longer, and you will have to work towards those a lot longer. Now, 4 reasons why a lot of people don't have goals is, first of all, they haven't been sold on why they have to have the goal. And today, I will sell you on why you have to have a goal. And as you've heard, I didn't say I will try to sell you on. I will attempt to do that. I will try and persuade. I said I will sell you on why you have to have goals, and I promise you I will. And secondly, people don't know how to set them. And again, I'll try and show you how you can set the goals today. And number 3, they have a fear because there's a risk involved. Even if you don't tell anyone about those goal setting, there is still a risk involved, a risk for yourself, that you will not complete it. You're not going to feel nice about it, if you don't complete it. And this is actually one of the reasons why so many people don't write down goals and they don't, commit themselves, because they're afraid that they will have to commit themselves. They're afraid that they will fail, in their own eyes, and that's really one of the reasons. And number 4, they have poor self-image. They don't think they deserve it. Now, I promise you, if you don't think you deserve a millionaire lifestyle, you will never, ever, ever in your life become a millionaire. I promise you, if you think you don't deserve, or you are not good enough to be a diamond orchid, you will not become one, even if you have the skills and everything else necessary. Why? Because you're going to start compromising yourself. You're going to sabotage your own business if you don't think you deserve. And I've seen it so many times. People, as soon as they get closer to what they want to achieve, but they don't think they are worthy, they will sabotage themselves. They will sabotage themselves and they will quit. So you have to start believing in yourself. It is so, so important. If you set a goal, you have to be certain that you will achieve it. You have to be certain that you are ready for it, you want it, and you deserve it. You put in the time and work and effort into it. Why wouldn't you deserve it? Okay, so the importance of goals. They have done a study in one of the American universities, and they found that out of the graduating seniors, only 3% had clear, concrete goals in their written down, for the future. And they've done the study, or a survey a few years later, I think 10 or 20 years later, and they found that those 3% that had set the goals and they committed them to paper have achieved more than the 97% who did not write them down. Now, would you think that is important? Would you think that is very, very important to have goals? I promise you. I promise you. And, the question here is, are you a meaningful specific, or are you a wandering generality? What is it? What is going to be? Are you a meaningful specific, or are you a wandering generality? Now, if you go and speak to a chairman of a company, to a CEO of a massive company, and you say, oh, how did you become a CEO? I really seriously doubt that he'll go, oh, I've just showed up for work, and before I knew it, they started promoting it. He's not going to say that. He'll show you that he has planned, he has worked hard towards that goal. He probably was one of many who wanted to become the CEO or the chairman, but he was the one who was the most, specific, and he was the one that worked the hardest. Now in sales, this business has the selling part, and there's no denial. You either have to sell the product, or you have to sell the business idea, or you have to sell yourself. One of the biggest problems is that when people are out there selling, they think that they ought to be at home with their families. And when they are at home with their families, they're thinking that they ought to be out there in the field selling. And this way, they're never where they're supposed to be. And what we say, and many people nowadays, they say, oh, I haven't got enough time. Oh, it's not enough time. And it's not the lack of time. It's actually the lack of direction. It's lack of direction when you're using that time. So the idea is that if you give this business an hour a day, but if you give that hour 100% without distractions, without anything else to the business, you will start achieving really great things. But most people are too distracted to do anything. They do this, that, and the other, etc., and they get distracted by all of these little busyness of life. And what you need to do is concentrate. You need to be focused on what you want to achieve. So the same question, are you a meaningful specific, or are you a wandering generality? Now, again, just to prove the point that the goals are very important, I'll tell you a little story. And this story about a person called Howard Hill. And he probably was the greatest archer of all times. Now, he have shown an amazing demonstration of skill. I think he won hundreds of competitions. He never lost, and he had so many awards, etc. He was the archer of the archers, right? And however, I can take any one of you on this call today, and in 20 minutes that I would spend with you, you would be better with Howard Hill. Would you believe me? Would you believe that in 20 minutes I could make you better archer than Howard Hill? Do you think so? Yes, I could, if I blindfold Howard Hill and turn him around. Now, some of you would say, oh, that's ridiculous. How could Howard Hill hit a target he doesn't even see? He can't even see. How could he hit a target that he can't even see, right? Now, many of you are trying to hit a target in this business that you don't even have. You haven't written down a goal. You haven't even written down a task or a goal or a target for yourself, and you're wondering why you're not hitting it. Now, that is very amazing, isn't it? It's same way like blindfolding Howard Hill and spinning him around and asking him to shoot in the bullseye. It is impossible to hit a target that you don't even have or don't even see. So, the question is, are you going to work tomorrow because you did it yesterday? Because if you do, you won't be as good as yesterday, because you are 2 days older and you're not closer to a goal that you do not have. Now, the most important thing in business is knowing the direction, is knowing where are you going. And the only way to find that direction, to have that direction very clear, is by setting out goals, is by writing it down on paper. And that is so important. So I hope that I proved to you that having goals is very important. I just remembered a little comparison. Somebody said that setting goals in business is pretty much the same like the goals in a football game. Now, many of you on the call today are football fans. Now, imagine if we took the goals away from a football game. You would have 20 idiots running around the field with a ball. That wouldn't be a very exciting view, would it? Now, this is why we need goals. So we have a direction in the game. We know what's the point of the game. We know what's the direction. We know where the ball is supposed to be going. Now, if you took the goals away, that wouldn't be very exciting. And I'm sure they wouldn't be paid such incredible money as they are today, because not so many people would watch the game. So that's the same thing in your business. If you don't have the goals, you're pretty much like that football player without a goal in the field. You're just running around the field with the ball with no idea where you are running. The next thing is the fear, and I said that a lot of people would not set their goals because of the fear. They have the fear of failure. They have the fear of rejection. They have the fear of not being good enough. Whatever that fear is, it will stop them. And recently I flew with an airplane, which is how I usually fly, and they say that airplanes, some of them are going down faster than they're coming up. It's dangerous to fly an airplane, and ships, they leave harbor and then you see where they sink. And some people buy a house, they lease it to people, and the tenants tear it down, they trash it down. And you would think that it's better than not to fly, not to sail, and not to lease your home. However, what the specialists say, that it's more dangerous for that plane to stay on the runway and rust out. It will rust out faster if it stood on the ground than if it's flying in the air. They said that the ship will collect more barnacles in the harbor where it's safe and become unseaworthy faster than when sailing the seas. And what they say, that the house, if it stays empty, it will deteriorate faster than if somebody lives in that house. Now, the reason for that is that planes are made for flying, ships are made for sailing, and houses are made for living. And I believe that a man was built for a purpose too. And that purpose was definitely not sitting on a couch with a pint of beer watching Coronation Street. I believe that man was designed for accomplishment, that a man was designed for success, and he was endowed with the seeds of greatness. And the greatest danger that we encounter as human beings is when we do nothing at all. Because if you don't do anything, I can guarantee you will not succeed. Now, 5 out of the 100 will succeed financially in their lifetime. That is quite scary if you think. Only 5 people out of 100 will succeed in life financially. It's as if they set out to fail. But I don't believe that people set out to fail. I believe that everybody has born a winner. Every single person that was born, they were born a winner. Remember, you was the only one a piece of sperm that got there, right? Out of the millions and millions. So you are a winner already. It's just some people put themselves down. Now, some people don't understand money. Is it okay to have money as you go? Absolutely. It is fine to have money as you go. And, some people say, I don't want to make a lot of money. And I believe that these people would lie about other things too. Now, some people say, cold, hard cash. And I don't think it's cold, nor is hard. It's soft, and it's warm, and it's feel good, and it's very beautifully colored. What money is a nice thing. You shouldn't be scared of it. Now, some people ask, how do you adjust all this talk about money with Christianity? And I say easy, because I believe that God created diamonds for his crowd, not for the Satan's bunch. And Jacob and Moses, they were millionaires. Solomon, he was the richest man who ever lived. So it is okay to be wealthy. And people say that, money is not the most important thing in life, and I would agree with that. But I would say that money ranks somewhere up there with oxygen, so it is fairly important. Okay, and what we say about money is that you cannot get too much money unless the money gets you. And it says that he who seeks silver will never be satisfied with silver. So if money becomes your God, you have a problem, because you will never have enough. So money is just a tool to achieve greater things. It shouldn't be your life purpose, but it can be your goal, to achieve. And some billionaires have died already, and somebody has asked how much money have, for example, Howard Hughes has left. He's a millionaire. And someone else said he left it all. So he couldn't take any with him, unfortunately. And if somebody asks you how much money you are going to leave, say the same as Howard Hughes, and you're not going to be lying. Because we're all going to leave it all behind. So the money is just a tool to achieve something else. It's not the main objective of life. It's just a tool. It makes things happen. It gets things, to work. It gets your lifestyle. It gets things to work a little bit better than it should. Okay, so philosophy. I believe that you can get anything in life if you just help enough people to get what they want. And that is such an important philosophy. You know, if you take one thing from today, is that if you help enough people in this business, you will get whatever you want in this business, and I promise you that. If you are selling a product that solves a problem, that you are helping this person to get what they want, which is solution to their problem. And if you solve enough problems to people, obviously you will get what you deserve. Easy. And there is a danger in setting goals. Of course there's a danger in setting goals, because you risk of failing yourself. You risk of disappointing yourself. But it's a much greater danger in not setting goals. Because then you're like that ship in the harbor. You're like that plane that never flies. And you're like that house that sits empty. You know, you cannot stand in one place. We always say that you cannot stay in one place. You either progress or you regress. You either go up or you go down. You don't stand in one place. And goals are something that helps you to keep moving forward. It keeps pushing you on. It keeps helping you. Now, how to set goals? First of all, you need credibility. You know, so you need to have a goal, you know, that you know, comes you know, credibly. That means you have to have a person that will help you to set these goals. You know, so if you are just starting in this business, speak to your sponsor. You know, your sponsor, because they have achieved already more than you, they have credibility, and they will help you to set those goals. They will help you to understand what, you know, you want from this business and how you can achieve that. What do you need to do to get there? What sort of goals you need to set in order to get the results you want to get? So look for someone who has credibility. You know, look for upline sponsors, look for leaders, look for diamond orchids, for pearl orchids, for amaranth orchids, because these people have credibility. They've already proven that they are successful. And then the goal has to be yours. I cannot make a goal for you. I cannot say that, look, Christine, you want to become a diamond orchid, but Bethany, you should be a pearl orchid, or whatever it is. You know, it cannot be done like that. You have to set your own goal. You have to own that goal. And the goal has to be big. In order for the goal to be effective, it must affect your life. It must affect change. You know, so you cannot set a goal that I want to make 20 pounds more per month. That is not a goal. It has to be big. It has to be life-changing. It has to be something that you will feel the difference when you achieve that goal. It has to be something that is measurable, that you can say, look, you know, I know that now I have achieved it. And you go as far as you can see, and when you get there, you will always be able to see further. You know, so many of you say, but if I set my goal to become a diamond orchid, I can't see myself getting there, you know. But set your goal, and then just move as far as you can see. Do what you think you need to do right now. And once you get there, you'll see what you need to do next. You'll see another. And we always compare goals to distance. We say, look, if you had to travel 100 miles in the middle of the night, now your headlights, they will probably only light up the next 20, 30, 40 yards of the road. Now how on earth are you going to drive 100 miles if you can only see 30 yards ahead of you? How? Well, 30 yards at the time, right? Because you drive 30 yards, the next 30 yards are lit up. You drive those 30 yards, the next 30 yards you can see. And this way you drive the whole of the 100 miles. Exactly the same way are your goals. Even though today you can't see yourself as a business owner, as a diamond orchid, as a millionaire, whatever it is that you want to get, it doesn't matter. You just need to see what's the next step. What do you need to do next in order to get closer to that? And you have to be specific. You know, I've already mentioned that, but we use this magnifying glass example. You know, you can be sitting on a hottest day with the best magnifying glass, you know, and you can be pointing it in a pile of newspaper, you know, strips. But if you keep moving the magnifying glass, nothing will happen. However, as soon as you hold that magnifying glass in one place, as soon as you concentrate it, as soon as you specify to one point on the newspaper, what will happen? The newspapers will start burning, right? Because you have concentrated it. You know, and the deadline is very, very important. You know, tomorrow is greatest labor-saving device ever invented. You know, I'll do this tomorrow. I'll do this next week. I'll start next month. As soon as the kids come back from school, you know, as soon as the kids go back to school, as soon as, you know, we change government, as soon as I lose some weight, as soon as whatever. It never happens. You know, you have to start today. You know, you have to start today and right now. And break it up into daily tasks and get started. You know, if you have a massive goal that you can't see yourself achieving, then break it into small pieces. What can I do to get a little bit closer, to get another step, to get another 30 yards? And then get started. Start doing those small things, and you will be surprised after a few months just by doing those small things what you will see. Now, you do not pay the price for good health. You enjoy it. Very often people say, oh, I have to pay the price for this achievement. You know, in order to achieve the diamond orchid, I have to pay the price. In order to achieve this, I have to pay the price. And I believe it's a wrong, you know, formulation of use of the words. You know, you don't pay the price for good results. You pay the price for poor results. You know, if you go out there next month, next year, and you invest all of your time and effort into building your own business, I would seriously doubt that at the end of the year you would be saying that I'm paying the price. You would be enjoying the results. But if you spend the next year sitting in front of a television watching the soaps with a can of beer, I really seriously doubt that you will get very good results. And I will definitely believe that you will pay the price for sitting on that couch. Now, you enjoy the price for good marriage, you enjoy the price for good health, you enjoy the price for good business. Now, we live in a negative world and we definitely need to change it. You know, and we become what we live around. You know, they say that you become what you, you know, spend your time with, you know. And just to illustrate that, 2/3 of our medical students, they acquire the symptoms of the disease they study. Now, that is quite bad if you think about it. You know, so if you are being surrounded by negative people, you know, try and get out of it. You know, try and spend more time with your inviter. Try and spend more time in trainings, opportunity meetings, conferences, national trainings, etc. Because that will help you to succeed more. That will help you to achieve more. That will help you to get better results in the business because you will be surrounded by positive people. So it is very, very, very important to do that. You know, for me, it helped incredibly in my business when I started spending time with people who were already achieving. Now, as an example, we have common cold. If you get medical treatment, the average life of a common cold is a week. If you don't get medical treatment, the average life of a common cold is about 7 days. So they don't know what causes it or what cures it, but they know who gets it. The odds are that 10 to 1, the odds are that when you get the cold, you are in an emotionally depressed state, which basically means you got stinking thinking. And if it continues long enough, it will lead to the hardening of attitudes. So again, you know, I've heard some of their habits shape our lives, and it's so true. So if you're thinking in one way or another all the time, that will determine how you become. I know it myself because I used to be quite a negative person, and then I started spending time with positive people, and guess what? I became a lot more positive person. You know, so get rid of the stinking thinking. Get rid of all the ideas that, you know, I'm the victim, you know, I can't do this, I'm not good enough, you know, I don't deserve this, or whatever else. I know that for many of you, your dreams have been beaten out of you through life. You know, through teachers, you know, parents, work colleagues, etc., saying to you, no, you can't do that, no, we can't afford it, no, you won't succeed, no, it's not possible, etc. But I promise you, if you start dreaming, if you start thinking big, you will change your attitude. And we have this water pump example. Now, again, by the show of hands, how many of you have ever used a water pump in your life? You know, one that you turn up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down to pump the water from the ground. Okay, I see 3 hands, so we have city people here. Now, for those of you that have used it, you know how it works. You keep pumping and pumping and pumping and pumping and pumping until the water comes, right? But sometimes it takes a little bit of time. So when you're pumping and pumping, sometimes you have to prime the pump. Now, some of you will know this thing, that's what it means. What it means, you basically need to put a little bit of water at the mouth of the pump, when you're pumping for it to catch a little bit of water, and then it starts pumping it better from the ground. Now, exactly the same way in our life, you know, some people, they come to their stove and they say, "Stove, give me some heat and then I'll put some wood in you." You know, secretary says to boss, "Give me a raise and then I will start coming to work on time." You know, a student comes to the teacher and says, "Give me a pass grade this year and I will promise you I will study hard next semester." It doesn't work like that. Imagine a farmer saying, "God, give me a crop this year and I will promise I'll plant next year." That just goes against the nature. It just goes against all of the laws. But so many people are like that. They start the business and they say, "Give me some money, then I'll start working hard to build this business. You know, give me some success and then I can start promoting this business to my friends and family." It doesn't work like that. You have to prime your pump first, and only then you will be able to see the results. You know, so sometimes you have to put a lot of work in, and sometimes you will be pumping and pumping. It can be 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and the water's still not there, but you still have to keep pumping. Exactly the same way in this business. You know, sometimes you'll spend a week, a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, and you are still not making that much money, but you have to keep doing it until you get the result. Okay. Now, some of you will be pumping for 5 minutes and 10 minutes and 15 minutes, and then inevitably the question will come to your mind. Is there any water down there? Maybe there is no water down there. But some of the water pumps, they're so deep that it takes a lot of time for the water to come up. However, the deeper the well, the cooler, the sweeter, the better, the cleaner, the better tasting the water is, isn't it? And isn't it like that in life? You know, the harder you work to achieve something, the longer it takes and the harder it takes to get something, the sweeter the reward tastes, you know, and the better the reward tastes for that achievement. You know, the hardest tasks that you have completed in your life give you probably the best results in life. You know, so the hardest prospect is the one you should be working on. You know, the hardest sale is the sale that you should be working on, you know, and then you have to do some more, and then you have to do some more. You know, and some of you might be saying, "But how much pumping am I willing to do? You know, how much will I do?" And some of you might just raise your hands and say, "I'm going to stop pumping this pump. You know, there's no water down there." And the person who knows how pumps work, they'll say, "Don't stop. Carry on pumping." Because as soon as you stop it, what happens? The water goes all the way back down, and then you need to start all over again. It works exactly the same way in the business. The only thing you cannot ever do in this business is stop, is quit. Because as soon as you stop, the water will go all the way down and your business will go all the way down. If you don't stop and keep pumping, if you keep doing the business, you will never, never fail. You will always, always succeed without exception. But however, the problem is that there's no way of looking ahead of the process and seeing how much longer it's going to be. You cannot look down into the pump and see how far down the water is. You just have to keep pumping. Exactly the same way in the business. You know, how much more sales do I need to do? How many more presentations do I need to do? How many more prospects do I need to talk until I become a diamond orchid? Well, unfortunately, you can't see ahead of that process. You can't see ahead of that business model. You know, and you have to just keep doing. You have to keep at it until it comes. And if we pump long enough and hard enough and enthusiastic enough, eventually the reward will follow, and the effort will always bring forth the reward. You know, so once you get the water pumping, you know that all you have to do is just keep an easy, steady pressure on the pump, and it'll just keep giving you the water all the time. Exactly the same way in the business. Once your business gets into momentum, you will be surprised. You'll see people joining your team in, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lines down, and you'll see the momentum getting there. It's like that pump. Once you got it going, you'll see the results going and going and going and going. And this is what you want to do. You want to get to that momentum. Once you get there, I'm telling you, you're going to be loving it. And, you know, the things will, you know, that are good, they get better. And when they get better, they get brilliant. And if you keep at it, you know, it's just a matter of time. So you can do it. You know, you can do it because you are unique. There has not been anyone like you before on this earth within all the ages. You are the first and you are unique. And you have to believe in your fellow human beings. You have to believe in what you're doing. You have to believe in your company that you represent. You have to believe in the product that you sell. You have to that belief. Once you have that belief, you'll have the confidence to do whatever it takes. So, a special thanks goes to a man called Zig Ziglar. This training is based on his audio CD called How to Get What You Want. And Zig Ziglar is the author of the international best-selling book, See You at the Top. And I very, very strongly recommend, guys, that you get that book and you read it. It is so powerful. Zig Ziglar is one of the few speakers in the world that is just incredible. He is just amazing. If you haven't heard of Zig Ziglar, go to YouTube after this webinar and put in Zig Ziglar. I promise you some nice videos there. All right, guys. So that's it for today's training.